The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night 1 hour show of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, to give you 2 hours a week. Sunday night, which is a 2-hour show, that's from 8:10 to 10:10 p.m., and Tuesday night show from tonight, 8:10 to 9:10. Hey, Coke. Unk. Wow. Feels good to be called an unk. I don't know. But don't forget that Missy L. Thomas's podcast, the Gatecast, comes on right after mine. And when my show is ended, please go over and watch hers. And give her some love and tell her I sent you. And I think it would be great for her, really, honestly. Cindy Mitch, good to see you. Coke Eater, Paz, thank you. Why, thank you, Paz. I appreciate that. But I don't know, what a day it's been. Hey, Kara, good to see you. There you go. You're going to have nightmares all day, Kara. A lot of nightmares. You'll be up all night. That's okay. But I don't, I was supposed to have my friend on, who's a belly dancer, but she canceled at the last minute, and that's okay. So I'm like, okay, what do I talk about today? And so I was coming up the steps this morning, and I'm going to set up the show, and he's watched for us. But coming up the steps to set the show up tonight, I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight. And then I saw on the floor that there was a book that was given to me a while back, a long time. Hey, Mr. Buck, good to see you. Kara, Squatch Man, good to see everybody. This is Buck Brown. I work with him at my store, and he's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. So back to the beginning here. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was going to have, then I figured, hey, what the hell, have an open discussion. Why not? And so I'm walking up the steps, and I see this book on the floor, and it said Gettysburg Ghost. Not Gettysburg, I'm sorry, Civil War Ghost Stories. And so just like every empathic dude or do that. I opened up the book, and the first thing I saw was the Battle of Vicksburg in Mississippi. And I'm thinking to myself, this is interesting. The ghost of Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I was like, why not? I usually talk about Gettysburg all the time, so why not, talk about the Battle of Vicksburg? Hey, Joni, good to see you. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. And then more than likely, you know how my shows go. I start rambling and other stuff keeps coming out. And who knows, maybe we'll end up back at Gettysburg again tonight. Who knows? Who knows where it's going to take us? So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. I want to thank all the viewers in the 160 different countries that do watch my show. And I truly, truly appreciate it. And I truly appreciate everybody that comes in to my chat room. And, Squatchman, Buck, Joni. Squatchman, if you're still in, how far away are you from Vicksburg? Hey, Michelle, good to see you. But, so the Battle of Vicksburg was May 18th through July 4th of 1863. And if anybody else has an idea what happened July 3rd, 1863, that's when the Confederates retreated from Gettysburg. Donna, good to see you, hon. Thank you for coming in. And so I didn't realize the dates of Vicksburg. It was from May 18th to July 4th, 1863. And think about it, man, that was like a double whammy on the Confederate Army back then because they just lost in Gettysburg. And that was from July 1st to July 3rd, 1863, where they lost 56, total between both armies, a total of 56,000 were missing, got wounded or killed or captured. Now, the Battle of Vicksburg, which as long as they were fighting, was a 47-day siege down there. It started May 18th. And the Union Army really put a pounding on Vicksburg. It really did. And at that battle, about 4,800 to 4,910 people either lost their lives, got captured, and or died. And that was just in the Union Army. Now the Confederates, they lost, what is it here? I got it written down. 32,000 soldiers. And out of that 32,000 soldiers, 30,000 of them were captured. Okay. So at that time, if you got Gettysburg and you got Vicksburg going on at the same time, I'm telling you what, that took a real big blow to the Confederate Army. It was considered their last stronghold of the Civil War. And when Vicksburg went down, then the Union Army just went in and went to they had other battles after that, but eventually it led to Appomattox, where General Lee surrendered to General Grant. But with Memorial Day coming up, I'm going to have a show on Memorial Day about all the deaths in the wars that our servicemen and service people, the women and men, my brothers and sisters, have died to fight for their country. Believe it or not, in the Civil War, Okay. You had the Union Army, and then you had the Confederates, and they were fighting for their rights. But it was sad because you had brother against brother, cousin against cousin, and a lot of men died. A lot of men died just for believing in what they want, what they had. They wanted to keep what they had. So yes, July from May 18th to July 4th was a very bad for the Confederate Army. Now, the Battle of Vicksburg was a decisive Union victory in the American Civil War. Oh, before I go on, okay, I keep telling you that I have my AI telephone here. Well, I call it my AI prompter. So you know that deal. Everybody has a teleprompter. So I got my teleprompter, but it's in a phone. So it's during a 47-day siege led by Major General Ulysses S. Grant that split the Confederacy in two by surrendering the vital Mississippi River fortress on July 4th, 1863. Hey, Kevin. Confederate forces lost control of the river, marking a major turning point alongside Gettysburg. Vicksburg was the last major Confederate stronghold on the Mississippi River. President Lincoln deemed it the key to winning the war, as it captured allowed the Union to control the river and isolate the Confederate states to the west, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Following the 47-day siege, Lieutenant General John C. Pemberton surrendered his army of roughly 29,000 to Grant. The win effectively cut the Confederacy in half and solidified Grant's reputation, leading to his promotion as the General-in-Chief of the Union armies. Squatchman says, you need to go see the National Military Park in Vicksburg. It's awesome. About 45 miles from you. Oh, okay, Squatch. Well, I'm coming down there to do, we're going to meet and have coffee one day. Hey, Gene, good evening. Good. Thank you for being in. I just put a big smile. But Squatch, we go down there and have coffee, man. Maybe you could tag along with me, or you could drive me there, or whatever, and we both can make it a day if you was up to that. But the campaign overview, all right, like I said, I got my teleprompter here. Let me see. It was in Warren County, Mississippi. The Union suffered roughly 4,835 casualties, while the Confederates lost over 32,000, including those who surrendered. Squatchman says, definitely have spirits there you can hear and see. Sweet, man. That would be awesome. Grant famously moved his army south of the city, crossed the Mississippi River, won 5 battles, including Champion Hill, and drove Pemberton back into the city of defense. The site of the battle was the Vicksburg National Military Park, in which my man Squatchman from Mississippi told us about. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. I got another months I can retire, my friend. Okay. I'll be down in Mississippi, and looking forward to it. But the reason why I brought up, like I said, when I was coming up the steps today to check and see what I was going to talk about tonight, and I opened up the book, The Civil War. Okay. And Vicksburg came up. I was like, wow, okay. So it just popped into my head, like, well, why don't we talk about, the ghost of Vicksburg in Mississippi? I mean, the book was right there. Okay, it was like calling my name. Sean, open me up. Sean, open me up. And then I opened it up, and there it was. And so I started to read a little bit of the book. Now, to be honest with you, I have ADHD. Okay, um, and what it is for me is I can't read a book. I can look at pictures, but I can't read a book. If I get a book, I read the first 10 pages, then I skip to the middle, read 10 pages from the middle, and the last 10 pages at the end of the book. Book whispers. That's funny, Kev. So I just read some snippets about, the ghost of Vicksburg. Well, there's a house down there, and I wonder if anybody ever heard of it. It's called the McRaven home. And the McRaven home during the Civil War was a military, the Confederate hospital. And, just like Gettysburg, the Trossel Farm was, a place where the medical set up. And when people go to the McRaven home, I mean, we're coming up at the bottom of the hour, so I'll be going on break, and I'll get a little bit more into the McRaven home. But like I told you, like all those people, a lot of people died at that siege at Vicksburg. And a lot of people were taken to the McRaven home because it was a hospital. Whenever you get all that air at the hospital, you look at all the death, all the soldiers, Union and Confederate, okay? And if anybody knows anything about the paranormal and ghosts, okay, where people died is where they stay. You figure these kids were young, 18 to 19 years old. And all of a sudden, without warning, they get shot and they die. Or they know they're going to die. And what happens, all the anger, hurt, pain, every emotion in their bodies would just come together. And when they were shot and they died, their energy was one big ball of energy. And they couldn't move. They were stuck there. That's why, you hear about residual hauntings. Okay. I know a couple up in Gettysburg where I think it's called the 1861 Inn or 1863 Inn. And there's a ghost that walks on the 5th floor of that. And I've seen him. And you can see him coming right at you. They boot out. And you can see him coming right at you. But he walks right through you without even acknowledging you. And that guy, that soldier down there in Gettysburg, okay, he is stuck in the 1863. He is stuck at that battle at Gettysburg. So he don't know you exist. That's why he walks right through you. But also, a lot of the kids, the young guys, the young adults, the kids who got killed there in the Civil War, some of them died so quick that a lot of them didn't realize that they were dead. They were confused. And they would walk around like, why am I here? Why am I not back in Mississippi? Hey, Heidi, good to see you, hon. Thank you for popping in. And they're just like confused. And they don't leave because the only place that they know of was the place where they died in the Civil War. And, you know, I really can't put any thought. Johnny says, what does it feel like when a ghost walks through you? Joni has a question. She goes, what does it feel like when a ghost walks through you? It is like getting hit with 220 volts of electricity, Joni. It is so electrifying. And you get this massive chill. You get so cold. And that's what it feels like when a ghost walks through you. Now, whenever you get zapped, like punched, kicked, scratched, it sends an electrical volt right through your body. And I'm not lying to you. When I mean electric, it really drains the shit out of you. It drains your energy. And like almost incapacitated for at least 3 days. It's because all the energy that is in that, the energy from the dead, from the spirit. Heidi says, I believe had something rush through me once. Weirdest thing ever. I believe it. I believe he did. So that's what, you know, would say the basic thing about, you know, when a Confederate soldier or Union soldier, or even any soldier who dies in combat, is what they experience. They died, they're stuck, and they don't know where to go. We're on the half hour. We're at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that means we are at the bottom of the hour. This means I'm going to take a little 2-minute break, okay? When I come back, we're going to talk about the McRaven home in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Oh, gosh, I got another one. Oh, man. I just lost my teleprompter. Okay.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Into the Night with Tuesday night, Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I don't know what's going on today. It's just like been a weird situation. I'm dropping everything. I'm losing everything. I'm not paying attention to anything. I don't know. It must be something in here or something like that. I don't know. I want to, apologize because I was telling people on Sunday that I was going to have a belly dance room tonight, my friend Amy. And at the very last moment, she had to cancel out. And so how I explained real quick was I was walking up the steps this morning, not figuring out what we were going to talk about. And there was a book called The Civil War Ghost Stories. And the first one that picked, that I opened up the book to was Vicksburg, Mississippi. It was a battle between it was a Civil War battle. And one of the, oh, hold on. Heidi said that I saw an energy coming at me. So, okay. Interesting, Heidi. But, so I opened up the book and I popped Vicksburg, Mississippi during the Civil War, And I said, why not? And so I read a little bit of it, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. But you guys know how my show goes, okay? We don't usually talk about what I want to talk about. It just goes all over the place, okay? I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week, nights from 8:10 to 10 p.m. and from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. Hey, Mish, good to see you. But we're going to talk about the McRaven house. It's one of the big, most haunted houses done in Mississippi. And at the time, let me read it up. Read a little bit about it on my phonotopper. We got teleprompters. I got a phone tomper, whatever you want to call it. But built in 1797, Vicksburg McRaven House is regarded as the most haunted house in Mississippi and a time capsule of the South, featuring 3 distinct architectural styles: a pioneer, an empire, and Greek revival. Added in 1797, 1863, and 1849. It served as a Confederate field hospital during the 1863 siege of Vicksburg. The 1797, built by highwayman Andrew Glass, who allegedly used it as a hideout to rob travelers on the Natchez Trace. And in 1836, it was purchased by Sheriff Stephen Howard, whose wife Mary Elizabeth died in the childbirth in the house. Yeah, behave, Kevin. Seriously. Kevin says belly dancer had a belly ache. He. Okay, you will. Please behave. And in 1849 was purchased by John Bobb, who added the first section and later died near the house during the Civil War. During the 1863 siege of Vicksburg, the home was used as a Confederate campsite and hospital. Let's see what we got here. But it, with it being, the most haunted house down in Mississippi, okay, so you're going to have a lot of ghosts. So, of course, I fixed my teleprompter, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. Like I said, today, I was going to have an open discussion. And no, 1797 it opened up, brother. 1797. And the McRaven house in Vicksburg, Mississippi, often called the most haunted house in Mississippi, is reputed to be inhabited by several spirits, including its founder, Andrew Glass, and early resident, Mary Elizabeth Howard. Visitors and staff frequently report paranormal activity like moving furniture, cold spots, and phantom smells of cigar smoke and perfume. And you know what? I've been on a lot of investigations. I remember doing one where I was sitting in a chair during the investigation, and you could just smell smoke pipe. Everyone smelled the smoke pipe. And they smelled coffee. And come to find out, the guy who passed away in the house, that was his chair. And that's where he sat. And he smoked pipe and he drank coffee all the time. And I remember doing investigations at houses, old houses, where I would smell the old lady perfume, Jean de Tay. Okay, something wrong with my eye. And it just came on really, really strong. So when you investigate, okay, it's not so much cameras and video, it's personal experiences. You have your eyes, you have your nose, you have your ears, as I guess you want to call it, equipment. But my theory about, the evidence during an investigation is the best evidence is personal experiences. Mish has a question for everybody. Who wants to come back and be a ghost? Why not? Heidi says, Molly Brown house, I smelled pipe smoke, which is known to happen. Thank you for sharing that. One day, Heidi, I'm going to do a show on the Molly Brown house. I am. I think we talked about it a long time ago, but I'm not sure. But I might just do a show on the Molly Brown house. Donna says, my aunt would visit me and I would smell Rose's perfume. And I guess that's just an easy way for people, for the spirits to tell people, their loved ones, that they're around. Mish says, might be an option when we sign up for life. Do you want to be a ghost after your life stint? Why not? Why not, Mish? Yeah, I can see that, Kevin. Kevin said he would be the most mischievous ghost. Heidi says, oh my goodness, I would love that. And see Miss Maggie would be honored. Ah, sweet. But so The key figures in activity, the Ebb house, Miss Mary Elizabeth Howard, the Lady in White, died in 1836 after childbirth. Her spirit is said to move furniture and appear in the middle section of the home. Andrew Glass, the highwayman, is a notorious highwayman who reportedly built the original structure as a hideout. John Bob, a later owner murdered by Union troops in 1864. He is allegedly seen pacing the front balcony, often accompanied by the smell of cigar smoke. Man, they probably smoked so many damn cigars back then in pipes. Holy crap. No wonder Virginia was a rich state. Seriously, because Virginia had a lot of tobacco fields down there. And then there you had the Murray family, the residents from the late 1800s whose family members are believed to haunt the home after a notoriously prolonged viewing in the parlor. Huh. And then the Civil War entities. The house was used as a field hospital during the siege of Vicksburg, with reports of shadowy soldier-like apparitions. Full-body apparitions have been reported, including a woman appearing by a window. It's crazy. Sorry, wet willies. I'm not even going there. Everyone's in a good mood. I'm in a good mood today. So, of course, with every big house, they do have ghost tours there. So if you're interested at going to Vicksburg, Mississippi to check out all the Civil War stuff going on, make sure you get a ghost tour in at the McRaven house. They do not sponsor my show. They don't sponsor UPRN. But I thought I'd give them a little heads up, man. Give them some love. Giving them some love. So I don't know. No matter where you go, in any Civil War city, okay, or even up here in Pennsylvania, a lot of places around here. And I'm not mentioning Gettysburg. You also got to remember too that there was the French and Indian War here in Pittsburgh. And there was a lot of places out there that still were used for hospitals during the wars. Gettysburg, they didn't have a field. The field hospital was a bunch of rocks on Culp's Hill at the time on day one of the fight. Then you had the Trossel Farm. And of course you're going to see ghosts. And I think what interests me the most about the paranormal is the history of the place that we are going to investigate. Oh, so you're all talking about coming back on who's going to haunt everybody, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, my list is this long. And I know who's the top 3. So yeah, being in this business for a long time, I have some ideas how I can haunt the hell out of people. But the question is, let me throw this at you guys, and it just popped in my head. Would you want to do that? Because I do believe there's also karma in the spirit world too. Think about it. There's karma. Would you actually want to do that? And if you ask me that question, I'd say, yeah, I still want to do it. I still want to do it. But it was a sad day, 47-day siege down in Vicksburg, and a lot of people died. And it's just, it's just sad. It's just sad. But what I like about this about ghosts and about the paranormal is that people realize that ghosts are real, that ghosts exist. Um, and it don't bother hardly anybody because it's well talked about. There's a lot of shows about it. The only thing I can't stand about, whenever you see shit on YouTube about certain places or people are talking about, ghost and demonic stuff like that, um, the music, the music that they play in the background while they're showing the show. I'm like, turn the music off, all right? It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Everyone's talking. That's great. It's nice to see a lot of people talk in the chat room tonight. I like that. I got good people. But let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you this question, everybody. And again, I'll ask it until I get the right answer. Not the right answer. There's no right answer. But what would you do if you actually saw a ghost coming towards you? Let me repeat that. What would you do if you saw a ghost come up to you and say something to you? What would you do? Would you run? Would you run? Would you be like, hey there, what's up, dude? What would you guys do if you actually saw a ghost coming right at you and stopped in front of you, knowing it knows you? Something to think. Kara said, talk to it. Because I will tell you this, everybody. I will tell you this. There's a lot of spirits out there that want to tell their story. But they just can't find anybody who they can talk to. Nish, you're in a good mood today, hon. Nish says, I'd say, dude, I know what you're up to. I can see right through you. Johnny would talk to the Mish. Johnny would talk to the ghost. Yeah, why not? Heidi says, nope, I tried not to take my eyes off one or even blink. I'm curious, intrigued. I don't think you could start. You'd have to blink. It's natural for us to blink. But what would you study, buddy? What would you be curious about? Why he's there? Why would you be intrigued? Just asking. I mean, then you go down many rabbit holes. Yes. Okay. She said, oh, I did, haha, and then he would have gone. That's how it works. But who would run another? Why show himself to me? Why? Because he has more than likely, he knows that you can see him and he just wants to be seen. And that's the truth. They want to be seen. They want to talk. They want to tell their story. Is what they want. Mish says, well, I thought I seen a nun once praying. My heart was in my throat. However, it was only an overhead projector the sheet on. My heart was racing. Kara said, Heidi, because he's a man. He has to go get milk. Kevin says, you see a ghost, you say hello and keep on. I have seen a few visitors upon passing that came to say goodbye. Yes. They just want to be heard. Especially when you go to when you go to clients' houses of people who just passed away. And they just want their people to know that they're okay and not to worry about them. Okay? There's a couple of reasons why they hang around here when they die. See, in my experience at investigating for a long time, when you die, when your spirit leaves your body, the the I guess the light opens up. Okay, the lights open up, and even in death, you still have a choice. You still have a choice if you want to go to the light, or if you don't want to go to the light and you want to hang around here. Okay, but most of us, believe it or not, we hang around here, and I will tell you why. Because growing up, I know, especially people my age and older, maybe a little bit younger than me, you were always taught going to school by the nuns and say, you committed a sin. If you commit a sin, you're going to hell. And a lot of people held on to that for a very long time. So even after death, when their spirit's there, they know from what was, you know, put into their heads all the time was that they knew they sinned, so they figure if they go into the light, that they're going to go to hell. I don't think that's happening. That's why you have a lot of earthbound spirits. Now, another reason that the spirits hang around is because there's a lot of unfinished business going on. And they want to see the business taken care of before they pass, before they go into the light. And they're always trying to find one that they can actually talk to you, that they can talk to, and try to figure out, or have the people figure out what unfinished business was about, like paying a bill, paying a rent, something to do with money, cars, whatever. But here's the biggie. Here's the biggie. You got a husband and wife that did everything together they were married 60 years. And they never left their side. They always did things together. They would travel together. They would eat dinner together. They would cook dinner together. And they were never apart. And then one day, her husband passes away. And all of a sudden, the wife doesn't have her husband around anymore. And what happened is that she's going to get really, really, really depressed and doesn't know how to deal with life because she always had her husband. And so the husband spirit is watching her, going wherever she's going, trying to comfort her, right? And she doesn't even feel him, doesn't see him, nothing like that, and she's still in a major depression. Now, my question to every one of y'all is, if you were in that situation, would you leave? Would you just leave your significant other in that mode? Or would you wait until she finally, or he finally accepted that you were gone? What would you do? I can guarantee it, if you guys were tight, that you guys would wait. That you guys would wait until your significant other was okay. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. It was last minute things to talk about. So I think it went over pretty good. I want to thank for all the participation in the chat room tonight. It was good to see people come in and just participate. It was great. But don't forget now, CL show will be coming on next about 9:15 Eastern. And I think her guest is going to talk about more ghosts in the mansions. So I'm thinking. I don't know. But children, if you can, please go to your parents. Give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children. Give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents and if you have no children, please, someone, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And remember, please, protect the children. On that note, good night, everybody. Have a safe week, and I will see you next Sunday. Good night.